I think sometimes there's toxic positivity. For a lot of the time in my 20s, I was quite crippled by low self-confidence, anxiety. And I think just having a child that has difficulties, whatever they may be, makes you lose that image of perfection and I need to look a certain way or do a certain thing. You know that old saying that comparison is the thief of joy. No truer word has been said. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be you.
Hello and welcome to Finally Fabulous with me, Kate. Finally Fabulous is a podcast that shines a light on some incredible women as they embrace what we like to call their fuck it moment to bring the joy back into their lives. Today, I'm joined by the incredibly courageous and wonderfully talented Steph. Hi, Steph.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. It's lovely to be here.
Absolutely privileged to have you here today.
Oh, thank you.
I'm really thrilled by it. So Steph and I met about a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And what struck me immediately about you is your selfless determination. And more than that, you're a fierce advocate for just not giving a crap about what people think.
Amen.
Just to make sure that stuff happens, right? And just push it through.
Absolutely.
You have an incredible resilience and an incredible energy. And as a mum of three and a carer for Gabe, who has special needs and disabilities, but more than that, a talented Adele tribute singer in hot demand. There's just so much to you.
Oh,
just
thank
can't
you.
wait to dive in. So
I
I think you're wonderful, and I've decided that you have to be in my tribe forever.
I'm there.
That's where you have to be.
I'm there.
So there's a loads for us to talk through, and
Yeah.
I think we should just dive straight in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So welcome.
Thank you.
So what we wanted to talk about first of all is actually about you. And how you came to get into singing, what started when you were young, and particularly that really tough time, tricky time when you're in your 20s and you just feel like there's so much pressure to get stuff done and start your life, and you're looking at your mates around you and you're comparing yourself to what everyone else is doing, and it can be really hard, can't it, to just find your vibe almost for you.
It is. And I really struggled in my 20s. I really did. I knew that I wanted to break away from where I lived and go and study music. It was quite terrifying, but I knew that I had to do that.
And you were living in Stroud?
I was living in Stroud. I went to sixth form college and I studied performing arts. And I thought, well, the next step I need to make is to go to this music school that I went to in Guildford. And it was brave, and I'm really glad I did it because I met some amazing people. But for a lot of the time in my 20s, I was quite crippled by low self-confidence, anxiety, and I was constantly trying to battle with that all the time. And that was difficult. Music obviously really helps with things like that. It helps you bring out emotions. It helps you feel the feelings. But you still have to take up the opportunities. You have to step on that stage and do all of that. And which I did, but it wasn't, everybody else seems so sure. And that's the great lie, isn't it?
Yeah,
is that,
definitely.
You think everyone's got it together and then you find you haven't got it together. Oh, right. Okay, that's great. Because I don't.
It's like a massive phew moment, isn't it? When you realise that.
Yeah. Oh, everyone's pretending.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Now I know.
And I think as we get older, we're more happy to just admit those things.
And be more vulnerable about that.
Yeah.
And say, I'm not sure.
Exactly.
And, I don't know if this happens. And do the thing anyway. Yeah. But it was harder when I was younger, and it's only as time has gone on and I've got to know me that I've thought, you can, there's so much more to you that you can do this. Yeah. And also, I also struggled with making mistakes. So it was that kind of perfectionism.
Right.
And it, even to the point of, can't sing out of tune. People used to say to me, I've never heard you sing out of tune. I'm like, well, there's a reason for that, because I try really hard not to. Yeah. And I know that you're not meant to. But you are actually, as a singer, meant to, especially when you're creating original material, play around with things and make mistakes. But I really struggled to do that because I just felt like everyone was watching me.
Yeah, there is that thing about you are in the spotlight. I mean, you literally were in the spotlight.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you're in the spotlight of your own life.
Yeah.
And everyone's looking at you and everyone's going, what is she going to do next? And is she going to be as good as that person?
Yes. Yeah.
And if she makes that mistake, then how's she going to come back from that and do that differently? And I think she should be doing it like this. And everyone's got something to say.
It is this comparison, and it was always, and that is, that old saying that comparison is the thief of joy is just no truer word has been said. And if I'd heard that maybe, you know, back in my 20s, I would have had a different outlook. Or just I think now there's much more information out there about how to deal with, you know, anxieties and our confidence and how we can combat that. But back then there was not
Nothing
really
at all.
anything about that. It was just like, get on with it.
It was get on with it. And it was very much get on with it. And it was instilled in us as kids. But, you know, because our mothers had to be like that. And their mothers had to be like that. So it was definitely instilled in us. And just get on with it. And also anxiety wasn't ever thought about. In fact, if anything, it was looked at as a very negative thing, that you couldn't cope.
Yeah.
And therefore, I won't hire you, I won't take you. Or, you know, being on stage is like, I imagine people going, if you've got anxiety, how can you be on stage? So therefore I won't hire you. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the nerves thing. Everybody talks about nerves. You get nervous, you do this. And I used to think that, you know, it was like that it was a bad thing to be nervous, but actually it's a really good thing to be nervous. And it's about harnessing that energy towards a performance. I know that now, but back then it felt very shameful to admit, and even to admit maybe I was anxious and I was scared. It just felt like you couldn't be vulnerable. You had to, you know, get it right first time. I feel like now, in my 40s, I just feel like that is.
Yeah. What was that?
We don't need that energy. Now. No, thank you. No, not anymore.
And you mentioned earlier that you were having a play with your own materials. So you were creating songs, writing songs.
I've been in originals bands. I haven't always been, you know, covering other artists.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of originals work, and that's quite vulnerable, and that's quite a tricky thing to kind of get on and get those emotions and those feelings out. But I loved it. Yeah, there's a couple of bits I've done on Spotify and I'm really proud of.
Yeah, you should be.
So yeah, I've done quite a few things. You know, backing vocals, lead vocals, original cover material. Yeah, lots of different things.
All sorts. And I mean, like, very creative and very freeing. Yeah. You know, just writing your own stuff. And it's really joyful when you see your work come to life, isn't it?
It is. It's quite really exposing.
It is.
You know, and you do. I think it played into not feeling like I was too afraid of what people would think all the time. And now I don't really care anymore.
Just don't give a crap.
Yeah.
And so what do you say to your younger self now about that time, looking back?
I would just say, you know, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be you. Yeah. You just have to be you and almost like trust yourself. You know, to walk into a room and be able to sing for these people and to do that audition and to, you know, and also that if it doesn't go well, that's not the end of the world. That's not the end of the story for you. It feels like as well in your 20s, sometimes you pile everything on one opportunity or one thing that's coming your way. And I definitely did that. And that's just not the case. It's just not the right path for you. There'll be another diversion that you
and quite often
take.
It can be fate.
Yeah. And actually, it wasn't meant. That wasn't meant for you.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that in my 20s. It was like, I've lost that. You know, it was all very kind of
disaster.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you go for an interview, and I don't know if it's the same with an audition, but sometimes you have a gut feel that if it feels that bad when you go in, it's not going to be right for you. It's just not going to be right. If you go in thinking, I've got this, this is the one.
Yeah.
But even if you still don't get that, that was a reason why you didn't get it.
There was still probably some good connection that came. I always say to my son that, how does it feel in your tummy? How does it feel in your gut? You know, and that's whether it's out at school or someone said something that you didn't like, or you've seen something that you felt just made you feel a bit odd. I was like, trust those feelings. Yeah. They are you.
You inside.
Acknowledge them because they mean something.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice.
And I probably would say that to myself in my 20s as well. I should have trusted my gut a lot more. Yeah. So.
And just not judge yourself against everyone else.
Yeah, and just don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, like don't be so hard on yourself.
Also, you've got this whole life ahead of you.
Yeah.
Where every decade there will be an opportunity or something that will come your way. And it isn't just this time
this moment in time.
Yeah, and I wish I'd known that.
Yeah. Just don't give such a fuck, basically. I mean, just fuck it, don't.
Yeah, don't.
Okay, so that was like the beginning of you and creating your journey, and then actually there was a massive fuck it moment in your journey, which we are going to dive straight into. which is all about your fabulous son, Gabe, and his diagnosis. And that must have been really hard, that moment in your life when everything kind of changed for you, really, in this section of your life, obviously.
Yeah, it was kind of mid-30s, and I already had my other son, Ned. Things seemed typical and fine, okay. And then having Gabe, it became clear as a baby that things weren't quite the same. So I did have a comparison. I did have, milestones to kind of measure with what was happening with Gabe, and those weren't necessarily coming as easy as with Ned. So it was a trip to the health visitor, and it was then a referral. And what we found out was that Gabe wasn't rolling over. He couldn't sit up, couldn't kind of hold himself, and struggled with feeding a little bit as well. And going through everything, looking back at his birth and his heel prick tests, they looked at his bloods, and they found that at the time he was born, he had a virus called CMV, which is cytomegalovirus. This virus is very harmless if you're not pregnant.
Okay.
And it's also not going to cause you much harm if you've had it and you're pregnant. I had never had it. They're not sure when I caught it, but I think it was probably early on, maybe first trimester, which is when the most damage can be done.
And did you know in the first trimester that you had the virus?
I mean, I felt it's a bit like having a cold or a sore throat.
Okay.
So
how do you know?
No, basically, because you just get so many bugs and colds, you wouldn't know which one is from the other. So that happened. Lots of evidence. I didn't have any antibodies, so they'd worked it all out. And, it had caused quite severe brain damage to Gabe. He had cerebral palsy. That was the why it wasn't rolling over and why it wasn't sitting up. And then as he got older, you could see that there was kind of a learning kind of difficulty emerge. They call it global development delay, but it will turn into a learning disability as he's older. And then he was diagnosed with autism a little bit later on when he was kind of 5. But we were always told, he's not going to walk.
Right.
There wasn't even really I don't know. It was more of it was all quite negative.
Yeah.
And so
this is your lot type thing.
Yeah. It was kind of, there's nothing, there were no drugs out there. There's, so we just very quickly, with cerebral palsy, you just looked into physiotherapy just straight off the bat. And we had some with the NHS. It just wasn't enough. It wasn't intense enough. In those early years of a child, like early intervention is crucial.
It is.
So we then made the decision. We had a little look around to see what was available, and we found a great centre in Bromley that we took him to where we was having therapy, but it needed to kind of be intensive. So we found somewhere in America called the Napa Centre. They had a few sites, one in LA and one in Boston, and kind of get to know a community on Facebook, and actually a couple of other kind of mums in the area that had children that had cerebral palsy, because you just kind of find each other. Sometimes you'll see each other in the hospital, sometimes you'll see each other in therapy sessions, and so we just made the big decision that we were going to try and get Gabe to the Napa Centre. It was an intensive 3-week course of physio, occupational therapy and some speech therapy, and it just looked amazing. It was a long day for him. It was 6 hours every day, obviously with breaks. And but we needed the money to take him because it wasn't cheap. So obviously being a singer and having musician friends, that's when we grouped together, and I was
rallied around.
And it was harder because I had to kind of explain what was happening with me personally. So I had to be vulnerable again. That was
must
hard.
have been really hard.
I spent a lot of time blaming myself.
I'm sure. That's
completely
natural.
I know that now to my core that it was not my fault.
Yes, of course.
I know that now, but at the time there were some questions that I was making of myself and what could I have done and all these things. And I just think that's natural. So there was a process. And I did have some counselling through St George's Hospital. They offered me some sessions. I only had, I think, I had 2. Which was helpful, but it's just not enough, is it really?
No.
But you do get to know other parents, and you talk to other parents, and you find out.
There must be quite a lot of shock, I imagine, going through. You're processing shock. You're dealing with the practicalities of what you've got to get on and deal with. You're blaming yourself. There's all the emotions.
It's a lot to just carry around with you every day. And I used to say, when we did the shows and I was talking about Gabe, I would say, and I still kind of have it today, there's always this in the pit of your stomach, there's like an ache, and it's never going to go away. No. And I think a lot of people have that for whatever trauma in their life, whatever. And it doesn't rule my life, but it will always be with me. And that's okay. That's okay. I just carry it with me. Yeah. It's like one of those things, and it's how you carry it. Yeah. But it was a lot.
I think that's that way you've accepted that is really powerful.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. It's, we go through our lives and things shit happens along the way. Does. And, some things you don't want to regret them, and you can't regret that because you didn't even know about it. And there's lots of things, people are saying that things happen you don't even know about. But you have to find a way to accept it and move on. Otherwise, it will be crushing for you. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But over time,
exactly,
you can actually get there.
And I spent a lot of my time being really, really positive. Like, we're going to do this, and it's going to have the therapy. And, I love my son the way he is. And I would speak to other people, and they would say, if I could take away the disability from my child, I would. And I was like, why would you change him? I think sometimes there's toxic positivity. I hadn't actually acknowledged that things had upset, I was upset, it was traumatic, and you have to kind of acknowledge it. You can't push it away. And so I was pushing it away with positivity. And then when I let it in a bit and a bit more, and then I just let it sit with me, it was fine. And then I could carry on being, let's go to therapy. But I think could be quite destructive to not acknowledge some of the negative things and the feelings that had come along with his diagnosis. I had to kind of take that on board as well.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot. Well, I'm really pleased that you were able to acknowledge that and accept it, and found a way for it to have a little part in your inside of you.
This is it.
And it's just
like a little
it's a little
bag of sadness I carry with me.
Yeah,
like lots of people do with when you lose someone, when something
exactly.
It's that's how I kind of visualize it as well. And I think sometimes it helps to see like visually how you're
just
carrying your sadness here. There we go.
Put in a little pocket
of it. Yeah.
Well, I'm pleased to hear that. So you didn't just go, okay, so there's this thing in America which would be great, but we can't do anything about that. You were like, right, what can I do? How can I rally the troops and create a community to support you, which is incredible.
I've been in so many bands, and I just thought, well, in speaking to my husband James, who's a guitarist, it's like, let's do this. What do we know? How can we raise money? I can't run a marathon. Can you? No, but we could do.
No, I mean, thank God for all the people who do run marathons.
Lovely, great friends of mine.
Yeah, like it money.
Great friends of mine. So we got together, did a little kind of set of women, and we did a lot on Aretha Franklin because I loved her so much.
Oh, amazing.
Pulled together some friends. Yes, I'll do it. Hired a theatre over where I'm from in Red Hill, and sold tickets. So I think we did 3 shows in all.
Wow.
To get Gabe 2 trips there. Yeah, and it was just so
brilliant.
There's so much love in the room. Like, everyone was there for a great cause, obviously, because it's my son. But the music was uplifting, and it was, about overcoming adversity. It was about all those struggles. There's a song in the show, You've Got a Friend by Carole King, and I was dedicate that to Gabe. And it's about advocating for someone that has no voice, that cannot do it themselves. So that was like, that was a teary moment for a lot of people.
There were not a dry eye in the audience.
Yeah, so that's kind of his song.
And you really pulled out the music from, that was a theme, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was overcoming adversity.
Yeah, it was all female artists. It was all those iconic women that have had very difficult lives and have been so successful.
Our heroes, really. Music heroes.
Yeah, musical heroes. Aretha Franklin, Amy Winehouse. You have Janis Joplin, all of these people that have had a difficult life and found a way to kind of overcome that. Some sadly not with us, and it kind of took the best of them, which is awful. But
took the best of them, but
their legacy lives on, and we can still honour that.
So you've created this incredible community now.
Yeah.
And you have this like show, which you can probably always go back to.
Yeah.
You know,
it's still there. Yeah. We've got some things in the pipeline this year. So
ooh, watch this space.
Yeah. So just got a few ideas and a few venues I'm talking to. So
fantastic.
It's been a beautiful kind of journey. But without Gabe, that show wouldn't exist.
True.
You know, that's
true.
I'm not sure that I would have had the guts to carry a show.
I'm not sure about
by myself.
I reckon you would have.
but he kind of gave me that boost to think, okay, let's do this.
He was going, come on, Mum.
Yeah.
We can do this.
You can do this for me. I know you
This sounds great. One thing we talked about was around therapy, because obviously Gabe needs a lot of therapy and keeping him motivated, because it must be a lot for him to go through.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot. And, you know,
does it take it out of him physically as well as mentally, I imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the whole thing draining.
It was hard. It was a lot of times he didn't want to do what we wanted him to do. And I don't want to force him into it, but I knew that he would, once he'd done it or tried it, I feel like it would have given him the confidence to know he can do that. So all of the exercises that we were doing repeatedly, and he would be upset and he would cry sometimes, not all the time, but I would be constantly singing at him nursery rhymes. We didn't really use the iPad that much the first time around. The second time we used it a bit more, but it was more about singing and you got this, Gabe. And I think also, the American kind of culture, the therapists are extremely positive.
Right.
And it was never, I'm not sure what to do here. It was always, come on, Gabe, you got this.
Yeah.
So I was exhausted by the end of it because I was motivating the whole time.
Yeah.
And he was exhausted. And I think, there were times, and then obviously having therapy in this country as well, you just had fatigue from it and a little bit of PTSD when he was really upset and you're just trying to help and calm him down. And, sometimes he gets so upset, he'd make himself sick.
Right.
And it was, so now he's got older and the therapy has eased a bit. He still has it at school. I feel like I needed a break. It had to be intensive when he was little because it's the early intervention kind of model. But as he got older, I had to take the brakes off because it was a lot.
What was that time like for you? How did you process all of that was happening? Because it's not really something that you can prepare for, right?
No, it was just crack on with it and get into it, and I think at the time, we still had music. There were still some gigs going on and I was in an originals band for quite a long time. And that really helped to kind of ease the load a bit, just to be someone else.
Yes.
Another.
And the music was definitely your release.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just to take yourself out of that role as mother, therapist, all of those things, and be the singer. As human beings, we're complex and we have many different sides and there are so many things to us. So sometimes you just have to switch it up and be that other part of you for a little bit. It's so important, like just taking yourself out of the situation, a walk, a swim, a gig or whatever it may be is a reset. Because then I could come back and be more present for him and be, what was needed in that moment.
Yeah, because he had time to be you. And actually what he needs is you.
Yeah.
He doesn't want another therapist.
Yeah.
Physiotherapist.
Yeah, exactly. He needs me on my,
So the other thing about your fundraising through your music was how we recognise about the community support.
Yeah.
And, just letting go of this fear and judgment again.
Yeah. And I think just having a child that has difficulties, whatever they may be, makes you lose that image of perfection and I need to look a certain way or do a certain thing. Gabe is going to do what Gabe wants to do. And I have to be there for him and support him and be his advocate. But, even when we're in the park, if people are looking at us like, I don't care anymore. I felt a lot of shame when I was, younger parent with him. And that was, if he was upset or having a meltdown and I wasn't, everyone's looking at me and I fell into that kind of 20s vibe of like, perfectionism, and that's gone now. It's like,
it's sad for me that you use that word shame. That's
I think it's something that a lot of parents, because society looks at you differently.
It's dreadful, isn't it?
Why is that child behaving that way? why is he making that noise? Why is he waving that in the air? He's got different facial expression. It's all, you do get it, and and it can impact you,
of course.
But then I think it's like another phase that you just have to get through.
Yeah.
And go, well, it's not our problem. That's the them problem.
It is.
So we're fine.
We're fine.
We're good. We're going to lay on the floor and stim and make loads of noise and do whatever we want to do.
and completely different perspective. But even when you're a young mother, with a young child or any circumstance actually where something is different that you're dealing with in a different way that you haven't dealt with before, it can be really isolating, and it can be really hard. And just knowing that you have these people who are in your community or creating a community.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the community around us and how important that is, I know that you got a lot of help and support from some critical organisations as well along the way. Can you just talk to us about and share some of those with us?
Yeah, so the first port of call that I made when I found out Gabe had CMV, it was CMV Action, and they were an amazing charity who have a support helpline for families, and they give a lot of information out of areas of support when you find out about your diagnosis. They also do a lot of educational work with midwives and doctors, paediatricians, so that they are aware of CMV and what to look out for if a baby is born with it. And also they tell you about what kind of treatments are out there, if there's anything that can help. So they were the very first people that I spoke to, and they shared a really lovely story about Gabe on their website. And it just, I could read other stories of other families, and it just makes you feel less alone about it.
Yeah.
And then the second organisation that was very, very important to us and was instrumental in Gabe's progress was the Dame Vera Lynn Children's Centre. We saw them for a good 4 years. Every week we would go there and have a session. It's called Conductive Education, and it's physical learning. And that made such a difference to his movement and his walking. And we also had free swimming lessons with them as well.
Amazing.
So they really were quite special, and they do the most amazing work, and they concentrate on those early years as well.
Okay.
So it's important that they can fund these programs and get children like Gabe, to reach their potential.
Yeah.
So there's the two that were really, really important to us. Yeah.
Now we're going to move on to this kind of perspective, really big perspective that you've already gained, and you're still only in your mid-40s.
Yeah.
And there's what do you think helps you feel grounded? There's been a lot that's been happening, and quite a lot of it's been quite overwhelming for you.
I mean, obviously music is the number one. And there's singing, for a performance, there's singing for people. But I think there's also singing in your car when you're really upset. There is singing at home when you just need to put on some music and have a dance in your kitchen because you need to shake it out. So music is just...
Love dancing in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's the most powerful thing across the board. Not just if you're in it as your profession, but just if that's, it can lift you out of something. It can also bring out something in you that you need to get out. Or acknowledge that pain. If you put on I love putting on a sad song and having a good cry and just getting it out of my system.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's great. And then I also like to, like I said, have a complete boogie in the kitchen with everybody. Yeah. So it's just it just fills up my cup having this music, in my life. And that would probably be my number one. But, and just to try and treasure those moments, because it is difficult when life is moving so fast and you're thinking, I've got to put a wash on and I've got to go, did I learn those songs for that? And have I, and your brain has got 700 tabs open at once to just capture that moment and just give it, 30 seconds to look at it and think, oh yeah, that's
time.
That's time. This is a lovely moment.
Just allowing that time, going, stop that, let's go out. And then my mum was always used to go, right, we're going to pack a picnic and we're going to get out for a walk.
Oh, I love
off
that.
We go, everyone in the car, let's see what we've got in the fridge. That's what we're having as our picnic. And we're not going to do any jobs. We don't care about the cleaning today. Let's get out and let's go walking with
I love
dogs.
That.
Yeah. And we just used to cram in the car and go for a massive great big walk. And, I remember that. I don't remember cleaning the house.
No,
but I do. No. I know we did that, but I remember those moments. But you have therapy, haven't you? How do you find that? I mean, you've had bereavements and everything as well recently.
I lost my mum sadly in January, and I knew that I needed to do it. I knew that I needed to speak to someone out of the situation, not involved. You know, my husband is wonderful. I've just such a beautiful group of friends and community, and they have been just wonderful and really supportive. But there's something about having a person that is not, doesn't know you, doesn't necessarily know the all and ins and outs of your situation, to just go and talk to them and process a few things that you want to say out loud that you might feel is difficult to share with other people. Or what I said to the therapist is that sometimes I feel it's too big. What I'm carrying is too big to share, and I don't know how to let that out. So being able to have this, therapy and bereavement counselling has been really helpful, to just let everything out and to say all the big stuff and have largely a lot of crying.
But that's part of letting go.
It is, and just giving into that. And I just think sometimes life is very busy, and you are trucking on with life, work, doing all the things that you need to do. But I could consciously feel myself holding some stuff in,
I'm sure,
to get through the day, to get through, and try and function. So I think this is why it was really important to have that space to just let it out and say all the things.
So all the things and cry all the things and shout all the things. And I had therapy, and it was so helpful. And I spent many sessions, like you're saying, just crying. And that was great, because I knew I was in a safe space to be able to do that. And even through the crying, there were like questions being asked that just helped me to go, oh yeah, that's interesting. And then towards the end, my therapist said to me, I just think we need a big anger session. And I'm just going to arrange for you to come over. I've got loads of equipment that you can punch and scream and shout. Amazing. And I want it really out of you, this guttural, just get it out and shout your head off. And what was interesting was, because he said that to me over the course of the month, where I had monthly sessions then, I realized that I didn't need that anymore, because what he was saying to me was that anger is such a waste of energy. And if you can, get rid of that, I mean, I think we need to do it often.
Yes.
Life.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing to get rid of. But just letting it go and having this safe space with a professional who knows how to manage that and how to guide you.
Oh, it's
incredibly
brilliant.
Useful. So now, one of the things that we like to talk about in the podcast is the impact of being a woman in whatever industry that our women are dealing with. And we've had women from, construction industries and advertising, the world of finance and lawyers and all sorts, and, really tough industries to break through as a woman. Even the advertising branding industry, for me, actually, at the early ages was really hard. Lots of male egos in there. Do you think being a woman has kind of shaped your experience at all in the music industry? What's it like in the sector?
It reflects most industries, I would say, unfortunately.
Sadly.
And there's a lot of misogyny out there. There's a lot of kind of looking down upon, particularly singers. What do you know musically? What do you know sounds good? And then you get the kind of sexualization and the kind of sexist banter that would happen. I mean, the bands that I'm in now, absolutely not. That doesn't happen, and
I'm glad to hear that.
I would shut that down. I wouldn't have felt confident enough to shut that kind of stuff down in my 20s.
No.
Maybe
if I was like the norm.
It was. Maybe if I was 20 now, it might be I would hope it would be different, and I would, and maybe that wouldn't even happen. But even even the promoters are largely male. You're dealing with a lot of male energy a lot of the time.
Of course.
And I've had instances where it's just been kind of cutting comments to me, like, what do you know that you're a singer, or it's been mansplaining when I've said something doesn't sound quite right, and then someone else says it, they're a man to a man. Oh yeah, what do you think? Oh yeah, it was the wrong chord. And it just gets completely ignored. So it does happen. It's reflective of every industry.
So what you're saying is, because you're a singer, people kind of therefore assumed that you wouldn't know actually how music worked.
Yeah, very much so.
That's dreadful.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of that goes on.
And do you think it is getting better in the industry now? Do you think there's hope for our young girls coming into that sector?
I think there is. I think that there is more, again, just more awareness of it. And I think there's some fantastic female artists that are coming out with Ray and Olivia Dean and all these, different artists that are in control of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they have complete autonomy and they can, speak up.
Yeah. And you're right, like Taylor Swift, regaining the control.
Yeah, just taking back control of it all. And I think that an up and coming artist now and a singer or any kind of musician can maybe be a bit more confident to advocate for themselves.
Yeah.
If those situations like I had arise. So
let's hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope.
And you're right, it's down to us to call it out.
Yeah.
When we see it happening.
It is,
and it's down for, men to call it out, particularly when they see it happening.
Yeah, this is it.
And, it could be their daughters or their nieces or, somebody they know, a young girl they know, going into the same situation. And we really need the guys to be allies and help us on this journey.
I've got, with my sons, it's like I'm raising you to just be like a good man. Like you have to take it on yourself. It's not, it shouldn't be about women protecting themselves. It's like you need to know that how you're moving in the world and how when you're working with women or in your class, whatever, we are your equals. And, you have to call out bad behaviour or disengage with anything like that. Yeah. I'm not having any of that.
No. And actually we're better than you at some things as well.
And
so we have touched on it already, but I really would like to talk about the importance of our tribe because it's such a big thing for us at Finally Fabulous in the podcast. And, people call them villages and tribes. I don't know what a musical thing would be, a band, would it?
It probably would be, wouldn't it? Yeah. It is so important to have just an incredible community. I feel very lucky. But you have to put into it, you have to make sure that you're not just taking, that you're giving and that you can check in with everyone and they're having a really difficult time. Make sure that you're present and always available for for them when so
I agree. Sometimes I just find things on Facebook or one of the socials I didn't know was happening and I just drop little messages just going, oh my god, I just seen that's happened. You're out of it now, but I'm here for you, coffee,
exactly.
whatever, just remember that.
And that's all it takes, isn't it?
Just touching in.
It's relationships that you have to maintain and keep present and make sure that you're engaged with them. And so I'm really grateful for the people.
I have girlfriends who are, I just turn up and they're like, oh my God, you look like you're about to scream or cry or something.
What is it? What do you need? What do you need? What do you need right now in this moment?
Let's start walking.
Do you need a cuddle, a dance? What do you need?
A very large glass of wine.
Or a large glass of wine,
And and obviously your mum was your primary champion. And always there, as our mothers are. I mean, they're just fantastic women.
She was the constant support and just... she wasn't an extrovert, she was an introverted person, but she was just so kind, and any injustice in the world really, really upset her. And she taught us how to, not judge people and to always know that there is a story behind something and to never take things at face value. And she was, just a kind, cared about the people she loved, but also cared about people she'd never met and what they were going through. It was like that kind of empath.
Yes.
She was definitely one of
very
those.
Wise as well. Very wise women, she sounds. Okay, so now we want to talk about some of the amazing takeaways for our listeners. And there's so much that you've given us today, Steph. Honestly, it's packed full of stuff. But what are some of the things that life has taught you, do you think?
I think to take the pressure off yourself. Don't sweat the small stuff. It doesn't matter.
Don't give a crap about what others think.
It did. I mean, it's just so, it seems obvious to say, but really take the pressure off yourself and just trust yourself. And if things go awry, they go awry. It's not because you are not good at what you do. It is just gone awry. That's just the way it is, and to try
and say a bit more, oh well.
And just be, what next? Next thing. Let's move it. Let's pivot. Let's move on to the next thing. So take the pressure off. I think that also to you know, obviously to be kind is like the number one thing. And just to meet people where they're at, and, you know, not to kind of judge people too much. I know what it's like to be judged. And so I try not to, and I just try to meet everyone at their, you know, with kindness and where they're at.
On their level.
Yeah.
Because we just don't know what people are going through.
Yeah.
We don't know what's happening behind closed doors for anybody's life.
Yeah.
And like we said earlier on, it's like you look at people and it looks like they've got everything worked out.
It is.
And they haven't.
And that's the great lie. They don't. Nobody does.
Yeah.
And we're not meant to.
No.
We're just meant to figure it out, get things wrong, get some things right. Just, you know, this is your home. Your body is your home. Look after it, and don't worry too much what other people think about your home. It's only what you think about it. That's the main thing.
And don't let, for goodness sake, don't let it hold you back.
No.
So if there's something you really want to do in your life, this is your chance. This is your life.
It's about that, you know, the be brave. Because as long as you tell yourself, you know, instead of like what could go wrong, well, what great could happen from that.
Yes.
You know, instead of this could go wrong, which I spent a lot of my life. I could fall off the stage. I could get the words wrong. I can do all of these things. I can, but you know, but what if I make people cry from my performance? What if people think it's the most beautiful song they've ever heard? What if, you know, all of the possibilities that are out there?
And I'm sure loads of people do. And let's face it, Madonna fell off the stage spectacularly.
Yeah.
And look at her.
She's okay. She's done great.
She still continues being incredibly inspiring to us all the time.
Yeah, she's I mean, love Madonna.
What a woman.
Yeah. Everyone else can get lost if they're gone about her age. I don't care. She's amazing.
And the other thing you talked about was celebration of small wins. Yeah. There's lots of small wins that happen.
There is, because everybody talks about mindfulness. You know, when you sit there, you ground yourself. Can you feel your feet on the floor? What can you hear? You're like your senses, and the small things are what you should concentrate on when you feel overwhelmed. And that's absolutely spot on. I think also when you're an SEM parent, the small wins for me with Gabe, oh my God, he just picked up his spoon and he fed himself a spoonful of Weetabix. Amazing. Look, he just held that with his left hand because he's quite weak on his left side. He just picked that up with his left hand. He just said dog.
Wow.
You know, so those, we live our lives in small wins. It's the minutiae of it all that I care about, because that's, you know,
that's what
that means so, it's such a big thing.
Huge.
To us, but it's little. I'm just looking for those little things, you know. Do you see that step? He got himself up by himself then, you know. So you're always looking for little details that just fill your day, really.
Yeah, and also things about you with it are little wins as well. The small wins, just little things that you do during your day that you go, oh, that was quite good, actually.
And I think sometimes, you know, when
yourself,
you meet someone and you just have a chat with them at the supermarket, and that was really nice, or you know, you compliment someone on their outfit, and they're like, that's nice.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I'm
always that woman in the change room going, by the way, you look amazing.
Yeah, that's what my friend Daisy is exactly. She's like, shoes, where are they from? Tell me, I need to know now. They're amazing. So she's taught me that, and she's taught me to be a bit freer with my kindness.
Yes. Okay, so what do you think you know now that you didn't know before? That's a large question, isn't it?
It's quite a large. I mean, it probably plays into that everyone's pretending that no one's got it all together.
Yeah.
And that we're all just the same, trying to get through this one life, right? And we just need to remember that we're all in this together. And I think sometimes when you're younger and it's all about your career and where you're headed, you know, it's quite self-involved, and you know, you do want to do things for yourself, but then the other part of that is it can isolate you and make you feel very lonely that you're on this journey of your career, or to find someone or a partner or whatever. And, you know, if you reach out to people, your world will become just much more beautiful and just more, I think a little bit easier as well when you just know that other people are.
And shared. Because you can share stuff together.
Yeah.
It's so much better.
And that's the other thing, being vulnerable now, in my, like, kind of with the Gabe things that were happening in my mid-30s, and now just saying, oh, I feel a bit scared about this, or I'm just really worried, and you know, and just being open about that is actually freeing.
Yes.
Compared to when you're younger, and I felt like I had to get it right, nail it straight away.
Yes,
otherwise
exactly.
I'm a complete failure.
Yeah.
So the vulnerability
I've had lots of
is
stuff in my life that's hit and gone, shit, that's really scary.
Yeah.
And I literally don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so what can we do?
Yeah.
What can I do that's in my control?
And then you reach out to your community and you're like, oh, that's so much better.
Have you done this? Have you had this? Have you had that? How does it work?
Yeah.
Have you done that? And they go, and then you pick whatever is right for you, don't you? And you go forward.
It's like a classic, problem shared is a problem halved. And,
it really is.
My mum used to say that and you'd be like, yeah. And you're like, oh, it's true.
Yeah, we need to say that more.
Yeah, we do.
More often. I bet Alice doesn't even know that saying.
Yeah, there you go.
Wrong generation.
My gift.
It's your gift. And what brings you joy, finally? There's one of our final questions.
Yeah, well, obviously
we have to talk about the swimming.
Singing and swimming. I love water. So I love water.
Yeah.
I used to do swimming galas when I was at school. Mm-hmm. I can't say I was brilliant at it, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I used to swim, actually. I used to swim for my house.
Yeah.
Breaststroke.
I was backstroke.
Oh, backstroke. See?
Loved backstroke.
I would have seen you the other way.
Yeah. I just love water. And again, there's just something so... It just lifts you out of, whatever mood you're in. And I think the cold water in particular, it literally, you're like, am I going to die?
Yes, because where are we talking about you swimming here?
It makes you kind of like, and you get this kind of guttural like, and then it's great.
Yeah, but where are you swimming?
I'm swimming in a lake with a lifeguard. That's where I'm swimming. I love swimming
and that's
why it's cold because it's a lake. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even, doing it for pace. Mm-hmm. Not even really doing it for exercise. I'm doing it because it frees my mind of all the noise because I'm just fighting for my life in the lake.
And do you wear a wetsuit or anything, or do you?
No, I don't wear a swimming costume.
Wow.
Because I wore a wetsuit and I couldn't feel I needed to feel the kind of pings I need. I need to come out looking like a pink sausage, otherwise I've not had a good swim. So, and I love that feeling.
Trainers.
Yeah, that's all, and I do have a pink bobble hat or a pink swimming hat. Yeah. And I love swimming in the sea, but I'm a little bit scared of this. I'm respectful of the sea.
Yes.
So it would have to be with, lifeguards again or a very calm day. Mm-hmm. So when we're on holiday, I do that. But most of the time it's in a lake.
Okay.
And and there are, there's some phrases that we use. So when you're going into the water, you might feel, it's a bit rude, but fanny daggers.
Love that.
And the other one is anaphylactic shock.
Oh,
I think that might have been Caitlin Moran that did that one. So, so you do like, and then it just feels glorious. I can't describe it. I'd swim 365 days a year.
Wow.
In fact, it's getting a bit warm now. So
yeah.
You'll have to find somewhere cooler to swim.
You're going to have to pack yourself with some ice.
Yeah, this is it. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Feeling.
I like it about 7 degrees.
Wow.
Okay, so.
I'm glad that you do that for me.
Yeah.
I think you take one for the team.
And I have a lovely friend that I swim with, and my other friend's like, yeah, great, I'll just see you in the sauna after, because there's where I swim, there's a sauna too. It's like,
perfect.
Oh, okay.
That would be me.
Yeah. Saunas are great for you too. This is it,
Yeah. Well, Steph, to us, I can certainly say that you are finally fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure and joy talking to you today.
Oh,
There's been
same.
Full-on emotions of every single type coming out.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for being so candid and so honest in your story.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's been so wonderful to be here. So thank you. I really appreciate you inviting me. So thank you.